Good evening, everyone. This is Melissa Thomas with Florida National News coming to you with the evening news rundown. I did miss you guys yesterday. I did a bit of traveling, but we are back. So thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. And as always, guys, if you are a small business person, you're advertising, we would love to run your ads on our shows as well. You can advertise by emailing us at ads@floridanationalnews.com to find out more information, and we'd love to get you started. Now, as usual, we like to start our rundowns with the latest COVID-19 reports globally here in the United States and in the state of Florida. So globally, the World Health Organization is reporting over 14.5 million confirmed cases and over 607,000 confirmed deaths. Now, here in the United States, Johns Hopkins University is reporting over 3.8 million confirmed cases with 141,000 confirmed deaths. Here in the state of Florida, the Department of Health is reporting well over 369,000 confirmed cases and over 5,200 confirmed deaths. Now, jumping into our world news story for today, France is reporting roughly 400 to 500 active clusters of COVID-19 cases across their country as they begin to tighten their mask mandate. They made the announcement that masks will now be required for all indoor public spaces. So as long as you're out of your own house and you're in a place that has a cover, a mask will be required. So that includes banks, supermarkets, post offices, covered markets, as well as offices, buildings, commerces, and establishments that receive the public. And much like you guys heard us report last week in other locations in the world, this mask mandate does come with a fine. Anyone that is not compliant will have to pay €135. So if you're out in France and you're watching this, be sure to wear your mask. I'm not sure it's worth the fine. But the authorities in France are saying that these particular outbreaks is a point of concern. However, there is no sign of an imminent second wave. So this is good news for the nation of France. That's a bit of silver lining there. Now, many of the current COVID-19 clusters there involve abattoirs and other contained professional settings, such as senior homes there. Other clusters resulted from family reunions during the summer holidays. And France is among two other European nations that have seen the highest resurges, including Spain and Belgium. Belgium, for their part, has reported new COVID-19 outbreaks in 9 out of 10 of their regions. So pretty big deal there. We'll continue to keep you guys updated. Jumping here to the US, just a brief update for you. You likely have seen this by now, but the White House Coronavirus Task Force has now resumed their COVID-19 briefings. On Monday, President Trump said that those press briefings would resume as of today, officially. And this is, of course, coming on the heels of the US seeing the spikes in cases across the country. The briefings had stopped roughly 3 months ago when cases had begun to flatline and the virus was showing signs of being a little more under control, and the US was beginning to gradually reopen its economy. But continue to enjoy the press briefings now that they are back, if that was something that you were tuning into to find out more about what the US is doing. Jumping here to Florida, a bit of a brief update here as well. Orlando has been selected as a site for a clinical trial of a possible COVID-19 vaccine. Dr. Raul Pino, who is the Orange County representative for the Florida Department of Health, he made the announcement yesterday during, catch this, the Orange County Business Compliance and Consumer Confidence Working Group virtual meeting. That is a mouthful. But during the meeting on Monday, he announced that Orlando has been selected for the clinical trial for the vaccine. He said Orlando was selected for 2, maybe 3 of the clinical trials for the vaccine, and announced that the Orlando Immunology Center was selected from the Institute of Health. So congrats to Orlando on that. Continue to watch this space. We'll continue to keep you guys updated on that. Now, in the meantime, we're going to take a quick commercial break and come back with some more stories for you.
My name is Russell Drake. I'm an Orange County resident and a community advocate. On August 18th, I'm voting for Rick Singh. Rick Singh has been an outstanding property appraiser for the last 7 years. Under his leadership, he has returned $1 billion to the county. Under his leadership, property value has gone up, and he is now managing over $206 billion in assets, the most in county history. Under his leadership, there have been a series of awards won by his hard-working staff. He has set the tone for that. Furthermore, he's a man of his word. He's no stranger to the community. From the east to the west, from the north to the south, property appraiser Rick Singh is in the community. He held a series of homestead exemption seminars around the county catering to your needs. Reach Singh is here for the people. So on August 18th, I encourage you and everyone you know to vote Reach Singh, re-elect him for property appraiser.
Re-elect Rick Singh for Orange County Property Appraiser.
Welcome back, guys, to the Evening News Rundown. Thanks for tuning in. Now, in another U.S. story for you, President Trump is weighing the deployment of federal officers to Chicago and other cities nationwide. This was first reported by the Chicago Tribune on Monday. They got their account from a source that is close to the operation, but was not authorized to discuss things publicly. But according to their source, the president is considering dispatching almost 200 federal officers to the city of Chicago. Now, Trump has recently aimed his remarks at cities led by Democrats, asserting that the cities are besieged by what he calls anarchists. As you guys have likely heard, Portland has been sort of the focus of national attention with the presence of federal officers there in terms of the protests as well. And of course, Portland has seen demonstrations nearly daily since the death of George Floyd. And of course, that was as a result of being pinned under law enforcement. So as the tensions rose in Portland over the weekend, the mayor there, Ted Wheeler, called for the removal of the federal officers, claiming that their presence contributed to an escalation of the conflict. Now, Trump said the people arrested in Portland were not protesters, but, quote, anarchists who, quote, hate our country, end quote. As part of his campaign, Trump has been focusing on protests and unrest, as well as calls to redirect funding to police departments as part of his campaign. Now, the other cities that are being considered in terms of the dispatching of federal officers also include Philadelphia, Detroit, Baltimore, and Oakland, in addition to Chicago. So we'll continue to keep you updated on that. Jumping back down here to the state of Florida, Florida's largest teachers union has filed a lawsuit against the state for the school reopening order. The Florida Education Association filed their lawsuit against Governor Ron DeSantis in an effort to kind of prevent or stay the forcing of all school districts to reopen their campuses in the fall. Now, the suit was filed in State Circuit Court in Miami against the governor, against Florida Education Commissioner Richard Corcoran, the Florida Department of Education, and Miami-Dade Mayor Carlos Jimenez. Now, FEA President Frederick Ingram said during a news conference announcing the lawsuit that the reopening decisions would be best made at the local level. Now, the teachers union is saying that it wants the time, funding, and support to prepare to reopen schools in a manner safe for everyone. Now, Governor DeSantis, for his part, during his press conference in Orlando yesterday, said that he believes schools should be open, but students and teachers who don't feel safe returning to campus should have alternative options. Now, we're going to take another quick commercial break and come back with your business and sports stories. We'll be back.
At Taco John's, you can expect one thing, so good, as in quality ingredients used in tacos and burritos made just for you. Every single bite.
So good.
Expect nothing less at Taco John's.
Welcome back, guys. Now jumping into our business story, the U.S. Treasury is going to start at the $1 trillion mark for this next coronavirus stimulus bill. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, in his announcement of the details, mentioned that that was the starting point and said that it would focus on, quote, kids and jobs, and that the goal is to have it in place by the end of July. So in other words, another couple of weeks. Now, in addition to focusing on children and jobs, namely schools where the children are concerned, Mnuchin said the other focus is in developing a vaccine for COVID-19 with the goal of having one ready for emergency use by the end of the year. Now, of course, the previous reports was that the goal or that the estimated completion time for the vaccine would be the beginning of next year. So they're pumping extra funding in to accelerate that to the end of this year. Now, the secretary also said that lawmakers are aiming to pass new legislation by the end of July when the current enhanced unemployment insurance expires. Now, he noticed that while the new package will continue to provide robust unemployment benefits, it will correct what some have seen as an issue with the current package. And the detractors have said that it pays some workers more than what they made on the job, so they were not incentivized to return to work, according to the critics. He also said that the new package should include tax credits for employers to incentivize them to bring their workers back, as well as money for states for schools that can reopen safely. So it'll provide some funding for schools that can reopen safely in person. Another main theme of the package is protecting small businesses from COVID-19 related lawsuits. He said, quote, "We want to make sure that frivolous lawsuits don't prevent schools, universities, and businesses from reopening." So we'll continue to keep you updated there. Now, jumping down to your sports news very quickly, Bob Costas, the longtime NBC Olympics host, is now joining CNN as a contributor. Now, he is joining as a CNN contributor discussing news and issues related to sports. So, of course, Jeff Zucker, who is the CNN president and Warner Media News and Sports chairman, said, quote, "Bob Costas is a legendary, respected voice across the spectrum of sports and beyond. As the world continues to change amid the coronavirus pandemic, we are confident that Bob's insightful analysis will help our viewers better understand what the future holds as the sports and teams we love evolve to meet this moment." Now, Costas is joining CNN as live sports prepare to return after more than 4 months off air due to the pandemic and the quarantines. The MLB resumes play on Thursday. The NBA is set to return next week, and the NFL is expecting to kick off as scheduled in September. Now, you guys know you're going to hear a lot more in detail with Casey when she comes on at 8 p.m. tonight with the FNN Sports Take. For Costas's part, he is a juggernaut, a 28-time Emmy winner, and he is the only on-air talent to win Emmys for news, sports, and entertainment. So again, congratulations to Bob Costas on that. Now, in the meantime, we're going to take one more quick commercial break, and we will be back with the beautiful Jamesia Stoudemire out of Los Angeles with the Entertainment 4 for 4. Stay tuned.
At Duke Energy, we deliver electricity and so much more, like free home energy assessments, rebates for energy-saving improvements, payment options to help you better manage your budget, and even bill credits for helping the community use less energy. So no matter what you're doing, we can help you make better energy choices every day. It's just another way we bring power to your life. How much can you save?
All right, everyone, welcome back. And as promised, it is Tuesday, so Jamesia Stoudemire from Los Angeles is here with us with the Entertainment 4 for 4. Good afternoon, Jamesia. How's it going?
Going good. Good afternoon, Melissa. How are you doing today?
Doing good, and welcome back to Los Angeles. Glad you made it back safely.
Yay, thank you. I'm glad to be back home, and I'm glad to bring everyone today's Entertainment 4 for 4. Again, my name is Jamesia Stoudemire, and let's get it going. So, number one, Spotify steps up and streams a video podcast. So, what is going on? As you see in this picture here, now Spotify, as of today, the Swedish-owned company is offering video podcasts. Here you see ESPN, as well as The Tonight Show and Jimmy Fallon, and the list just goes on. As of today, you can now stream Higher Learning, as well as Fantasy Footballers, Book of Basketball 2.0, and up at the end of this month will be Michelle Obama's video podcast. So you guys definitely want to make sure you guys get over there. Right now, Spotify already has over 286 million monthly users. So by them adding this video component, this is going to give them the competitive edge that they've needed to compete against other platforms like YouTube as well as Facebook. And really the goal for Spotify right now is they want to be able to really engage their users more on their platform. So by adding this video component, you know, it definitely is going to allow people to be on that app much longer and spend more time and really engaging with that app. So that's pretty interesting. Make sure you guys head on over to Spotify. If you are, it's a free app, is music streaming at the moment, but now they've added the podcast. So it is free, but they also have a subscription service, which I believe is no ads. So if you guys want to check that out, you can go to Spotify.com. Number two, summer blockbuster Tenet release delayed again. So in this picture, you see the stars Robert Pattinson and John David Washington. They are two of the leads in the new Christopher Nolan film Tenet. So this is actually, the movie has been done. So what is kind of taking place and why it keeps getting delayed is because it's slated to be the first major film to be released in theaters. So with that being the goal of this film, it's been a real struggle. As we all know, the COVID numbers, if you've been following, has been rising dramatically, especially here in California and Florida. So a lot of those theaters have shut down. So the theaters, and even if they weren't shut down before, the films just weren't being released via theater. So those theaters are really suffering. So this film is slated and the goal is to go into theaters, but since they're closed, unfortunately, it had to push back that date again. So the original date that it was going to release was July 17th, and then they had to push it back to August 12th. So that was the last date that they just pushed back. So right now, the studio doesn't know. The plan is unknown how they're going to actually release the film. They actually kind of predict that it'll actually release internationally because China's theaters are already open. So it may release internationally before coming to the US. We don't know. You just have to stay in the loop. If you're excited and really want to keep up to date, you can go to imdb.com and they really can keep you up to date on that. All right, and number 3. The Parent Trap cast reunites, praises Lindsey Lohan on her breakout role. So right here, you see a screenshot from the cast reunion. It was actually hosted in the top middle. You see Katie Couric. They also had Lindsey Lohan, Dennis Quaid, Lisa Ann Walter, Simon Coons, Elena Hendricks, the writer and producer Charles Shear, and the writer and director Nancy Meyer. So really cool thing is they did this as a COVID-19 relief, and the funds went to the World Central Kitchen. So that's an organization that they donated all the proceeds from this cast reunion. The film actually released in 1998, and it stars Lindsey Lohan. And at this time, Lindsey Lohan was maybe about 11 years old. So a lot of the topic and the other castmates were just praising her that, for 11-year-olds, she was just such a very standout talent. As in the movie, she plays 2 different girls, one named Anne and one named Haley. So she's actually playing 2 different girls in the film, and she just was amazing at it. They also took a moment to remember their one of their fallen castmates, Natasha Richardson. She passed away in 2009 from a skiing accident. So they just remembered her and just talked about, being on set with her and what that was like. So congratulations to them. And that was definitely a great movie. I definitely remember watching that growing up. And number 4. Brandy drops a brand new album coming out July 31st. Now, if a lot of you remember, Brandy is from a hit show named Moesha, but Brandy is now releasing a new album after 8 years. So her last album dropped in 2012. That was entitled Two Flavors. So this actual project is being produced by DJ Camper, Hit Boy, and the late Sean Daniels. And just to quote her, she said, "I was really trying to find my sound and get to a place where I could express myself as honestly as I could creatively." So that's kind of what's taken her so long. I'm definitely excited to take a listen to it when it drops. And you guys can find that on all streaming platforms. Again, thank you guys for Stedemeyer, and you've just watched the Entertainment 444. You can follow me at THE_ENT_mogul on Instagram. Melissa, back over to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Jamesia. As always, a pleasure to have you. And thanks for keeping us updated at all times.
No
Appreciate
problem.
you.
I enjoy it.
All right. And ladies and gentlemen, that does it here for us at the Evening News Rundown. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't yet, be sure to follow us, like us, subscribe, all that fun stuff. You'll find us at Florida National News on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. On YouTube, be sure to subscribe and click the bell so you get all the notifications. And on Facebook, we have a couple of other pages at FNN News Live and FNN News TV. And a quick programming note, since it is Tuesday, Casey will be back this evening with the FNN Sports Take at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So get all your sports updates and details and stats from her tonight. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. It is always a pleasure. You have a great rest of your day. Take care.